Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. It's the first Thursday of the month, which means it's recipe time. The chill of early November brings the warmth of hearth and home as holidays near. To get into the spirit of the season, Chef Marco has found a healthy recipe for everyone's favorite part of Thanksgiving, leftovers.
Hi, I'm Marco Ayala, and I'm here to share another recipe with all of you. Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and is that time of the year where we get together with family and we give thanks for all the things that we have and all the people around us. And one of the big aspects of this holiday is food. In fact, traditional, we all have turkey, and we all have a favorite way to make our turkey. That favorite that reminds us of home, that probably reminds us of our childhood, or maybe it's a recipe that has been passed down through generations. The one thing that we all have in common, though, is leftovers. Turkeys can be pretty big, so we end up sometimes having turkey for weeks after Thanksgiving. And I decided that I wanted to make a recipe that will make the oh my gosh, turkey again into a oh my gosh, turkey again. So thinking about that, I decided that it also probably a healthy recipe wouldn't be a bad thing. And that's how I came up with an idea to make a turkey cranberry salad. This is very easy to make. It's packed with flavor. And let me tell you how I put this together. First, into a saucepan, you're going to pour 1/4 cup sugar and 1/4 cup water. Bring it to a boil and stir until the water is reduced and a caramel is forming. Then you're going to add 1/2 cup sliced almonds or pecan pieces. Once the liquid becomes an amber color, you're going to remove it from the heat and pour the nuts into a piece of Parmesan paper. And just like that, you have candied nuts. The candied nuts add a little bit of sweetness. However, this salad is packed with flavor. So we also added cranberries, but this is not your ordinary dried cranberry. Into a saucepan, add 1/2 cup juice from the turkey or leftover gravy. Bring it to a boil and add 1/2 cup dried cranberries. Stir it until the liquid evaporates and the cranberries are softened. And even the leftover turkey that you have in hand is going to depend on what your family likes best. A lot of people like white meat. I personally like dark meat better. So I always think of this in terms of team white meat, team dark meat. So let me know which team you belong to. You can send us a tweet. You can leave a comment on Facebook or on our YouTube page. In any case, whether you like dark meat or white meat, we are going to infuse it with a ton of flavor for this salad. To your turkey meat, you're going to add 1/4 teaspoon smoked sea salt or salt and pepper, 1/4 teaspoon garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon onion powder, and cook the turkey until it's brown on both sides. Remove it from the pan onto a cutting board and cut it into strips. And now it's time to assemble our salad. This salad works great with either iceberg lettuce or spring mix. In this case, as you can see here, I decided to do both. And this is really, again, going to depend on what your family likes better. To a plate, add 2 to 3 cups greens. Sprinkle the greens with the cranberries, candied nuts, raspberry vinaigrette salad dressing, and then top it with a warm turkey. And it's really that easy to turn turkey leftovers into something that your family is going to really enjoy. And you can always customize it with certain things that your family likes better, and maybe add some fruit. I will probably add some strawberries, maybe a little raspberries, even blueberries will go great with this salad. And again, I really hope you enjoy it and you enjoy using your turkey leftovers for this. However, as I always say, there's always room for dessert. So how about we also get into the spirit of Thanksgiving, and since we're using all these beautiful cranberries, how about we do a cranberry swirl pound cake? And look at this beauty. This pound cake is so moist, it's beautiful. It is going to be something that your family is really going to enjoy. So let me tell you how to put this together. To a bowl, you're going to add 1.5 cups all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons baking powder, half a teaspoon salt, 3 eggs, 1 cup full-fat Greek yogurt, 3/4 cup sugar, 1/4 cup vegetable oil, and 1 tablespoon vanilla extract. And with a hand mixer, you're going to beat all these ingredients until they're just combined for about 30 to 60 seconds. And it's important that you don't overmix it because that is going to allow your pancake to be nice, velvety, and airy, and most importantly, not heavy. And for the cranberry swirl, it is very easy. All there is some cranberry sauce. You are going to prepare a loaf pan, 8 by 4 inches, with parchment paper. The parchment paper is a great idea because it's going to help you very easily take your pound cake out of the pan in one piece, and it's going to look beautiful. And most importantly, you're not going to have to scrub that pan after you take it out. Pour the batter into your prepared pan and add half a cup cranberry sauce right in the middle. Then with a knife, swirl it all around. Then bake the mixture at 350 degrees for about 60 to 70 minutes. And the hardest part is waiting for your pound cake to cool after you take it out of the oven. However, make sure to let it cool completely, remove the parchment paper, slice it, and it's ready to eat. And like I said before, this pound cake is good enough to be served on its own, either as dessert or as a side dish. And I really hope you give this whole meal a try because it's a great way to use those turkey leftovers and give them a little twist, give them some new life. How can you get in touch with us and how can you get these recipes? Obviously by going to our website. And remember to also, while you're at it, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, or send us a tweet. So, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, also remember that it's a great time to give back to the community. So if you have the possibility, remember to make a donation to your local food shelf to help the less fortunate also have a nice Thanksgiving. And from my kitchen to your kitchen, happy Thanksgiving and happy cooking. This is really good.
Thank you, Marco. Remember, you can find hundreds of recipes from your friends at Across the Fence by visiting our website and clicking on the link to recipes. Our next story takes us down a different path. Town road crews have been working spring, summer, and fall to get the roads ready for winter. But it's not only the roads that need repair, it's also those roadside attractions like culverts, drains, and ditches. This video from Lake Champlain Basin Program shows how all roads should lead to protecting and preserving natural resources.
This is one 200-meter segment of road that we're working on. If you multiply that by all the 100-meter segments of road, it all adds up. And you have to start somewhere. So it's important to me to do what I can, and as a road foreman, I'm trying to do my share, do my part.
Passed in 2015, the Vermont Clean Water Act required the state of Vermont to regulate runoff from municipal roads in order to achieve the targets of the Lake Champlain Phosphorus TMDL. Under a new permitting process, towns must identify sources of phosphorus pollution and develop plans for reducing their impacts on water quality.
At the heart of the program is the requirement that towns would have to develop a road erosion inventory for all of their roads, especially those municipal roads that are in close proximity to waters. And towns would have to prioritize and schedule an implementation plan over a 20-year period of how they would bring roads up to the municipal road standards by having these practices in place. The 20-year plan is tied to some of the total maximum daily lows, or TMDLs, with some of the major watersheds in the state where they don't meet water quality standards. When we talk about best management practices or standards. We're really talking about how do we improve the drainage of municipal roads.
I believe phosphorus is a big thing that matters. The way I see it working is the finer particles are the ones that go the distance, because you get heavy particles, they settle out wherever it can settle out. You know, when it gets to a slower moving waterway, it'll settle out, but the fines, it just keeps going because it doesn't settle out till it gets to Lake Champlain.
The Vermont DEC's Municipal Grant and Aid Program provides critical funding for municipalities to put best management practices in place to bring their roads up to standards.
Because it's so long and so steep, if there's opportunities for cross culverts, so not only stone lining both sides, but getting some water disconnected by putting in some cross culverts.
Rather than being reactive and always filling in, you know, the gullies and the washouts after a rain, we can be proactive with that money and make it so it doesn't happen. This grant helps us put another cross culvert in, re-ditch the ditches, put stone in them so they're stable. So any water trapped on the uphill side following the road gains volume and it gains velocity. So when you put a cross culvert in, it takes the water that's on the uphill side of the road and discharges it down. Now you're getting that water off the road faster, which is very helpful. On the steeper sections of road, if you line those ditches with stone, then the stone sets that ditch in place, and now the water can run over the stone and it doesn't continually eat the bottom of your ditch, which sends the fines down the chain of the waterways. Even though it may seem like this little piece of road is insignificant to the problem, it really isn't, because the problem is this piece of road and the 500 other pieces of road that are just like it, that all adds up. It just keeps adding up. So you have to start somewhere. You start where you can.
And that's our program for today. Thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Stay well.